thank you again for listening to the Culture Captures Spotlight podcast. I'm Joe, and today I'm being joined with Tara Carsner. You can say hi.
Oh, hey, what up? Sorry.
No,
I'm like, when is my cue? Am I
no,
good to go?
no, you're good. So for those who don't already know, just kind of say what you do, what you've been a part of, and just kind of give a brief overview about yourself.
Yeah, so I am a brand strategist and currently VP of influence at Weber Shandwick, but also own my own boutique creative agency, Home Team, where I do a bunch of brand strategy work, partnerships, and experiential execution in the space of music, streetwear, fashion, and culture.
So you just recently got to Weber Shandwick, right?
Yeah, today was actually my first day.
So, okay. What are you going to be kind of doing there, and what does your work kind of entail at Weber?
Yeah, so in my role, I'm going to be developing strategy for influencer integration for some major accounts, the main one being Nestle, working on stuff like Perrier and San Pellegrino, and then also just working across a lot of their brands as the cultural go-to person, if you will. So trying to bring back influencer work to being very authentic and real versus kind of played out and stuffy, if you will, trying to make it cool and dope and resonate with all of us.
So how did you get in contact with Weber, and how did the dominoes fall to get to the position you're at there now today?
Yeah, so I have a friend who's worked there for about 3.5, 4 years now, I think. And he introduced me to his manager, who is the head of influence. And we just vibed really well. She loved my sneaker collection and everything and started following me on Instagram, and we just stayed tight. I was trying to get Weber to do a lot of stuff with Lyrical Lemonade, being that I run all of their brand partnerships. And so we were able to stay connected through that, me constantly trying to pitch her and get brands to give us money. And timing just worked out perfectly. I was recently at Broadband TV doing partnership work, and it just wasn't the right fit for me. And she actually hit me up looking to hire somebody else, asking if I knew anybody in the space. And I said, actually, me. And everything happened really quickly, but super excited to make that transition over.
That's really cool. And Home Team Creative Agency, that's the company you founded and you run as well as doing all this other stuff, right?
Yeah, actually, yesterday was our 5-year anniversary.
Wow.
I started it after leaving Jordan Brand. I thought Jordan Brand was my end all, dreams come true job, and I wasn't truly happy. And I wanted to develop a job that fulfilled me and really made me happy. And in that soul searching time after Jordan Brand, I discovered that it was being a dot connector and providing opportunity and resources to up and coming creatives. So I developed that agency to serve that exact purpose. Tried to give people that don't have 3,000 or 30,000 followers opportunities to work with these brands like Complex and Adidas and Foot Locker. You can have 2,000 followers and be 10 times more dope than somebody who has 30,000 followers. So just trying to be that person that has their pulse and eyes on what's happening and who's really creating dope shit, and making sure that the clients see that and give them a shot.
Yeah, and that's super cool. And you got into Jordan. How did you get into Jordan right away? I mean, I know you said to me a little bit ago that you started working as retail and stuff at Finish Lines and Foot Lockers. What made you really at first love the sneaker industry and really want to do shoes and pursue that as your full-time job?
Yeah, so I'm born and raised Iowa, which makes it everyone's probably like, how did she work at Jordan Brand if she's from Iowa and into shoes? Like, there's more than corn there. I grew up playing basketball and being a four-sport athlete, and I have an older sister who got me into sneakers, and so it just became a thing. I have a very addictive personality. So when I like something, I like research the crap out of it and like go super, super hard. And so when I first got into shoes, I was like, oh, I need more pairs. And then my mom wouldn't buy me more pairs of shoes. So I started working at Finish Line and really started to understand release dates and things like that. So this is like Nike Talk days. They're not StockX, and all of these like sneaker news blogs didn't exist. Like, we were on these forums like trying to find release calendars through other people who worked at Finish Line and Foot Lockers and stuff like that. So I was making Excel spreadsheets with release dates before these like calendars and stuff existed. And in doing so, like, just really fell in love with the culture and decided that I wanted to own my own shoe store. So I ended up going to college for business and PR so I could run my own shoe store. Literally every project I did in college was around this made-up boutique. And my senior year, I went to Chicago for an entrepreneurship program and interned at Success in Chicago. It was a tier 0 account at the time. And I went on to actually manage it after that internship. It was funny. I called him. One of my homies bought all of his limited edition shoes from there and connected me. And I called him. I'm like, hi, I'm Curtis's friend from Iowa. Like, I want to intern for you. And he was like, yeah, sure. Whenever you move to Chicago, you can come in and we can talk. So I drove up there 2 days later because I was like, this guy doesn't take me seriously. And so I drove all the way to Chicago, 4.5 hours, and was like, hi, I'm Tara. I'm really about this. And here's who I am. And so, yeah, interned there and then started managing after I graduated college and realized after crunching all the numbers, shit really isn't that sweet. It is really hard to make money as a boutique. So and it's funny, my boss was like, you're not going to want to own your own shoe store, just so you know. And I took that as he doesn't think that I can do it. So I had a chip on my shoulder, but he was right. It wasn't for me. I like to have a business with not as much overhead, and all your money's kind of wrapped up in product. And so I started to look into working at Nike and doing more of the marketing side of the business. At the time at the store, I was doing buying and things like that, where I really understood the life cycle and what the inner workings of Nike. I've done a couple events with them and actually stopped working at the store at Success for a little bit, went back to Iowa because it just wasn't the right fit for a while. And I started baking back in Iowa because there's nothing else to do. And I was baking, and one of the reps at Jordan Brand, who was at Nike basketball at the time, was like, yo, send me some cookies. So I sent him cookies, and I joke till this day, I got a job at Jordan Brand off of my chocolate chip cookies. And it's because I sent them to him and I was like, hey, glad you like the cookies. Can I learn more about what you do and learn more about the business? I have a base, but tell me more. And when he ended up getting headcount, he moved over to Jordan Brand. He ended up getting headcount, meaning a role available on his team to report into him. And he hit me and asked me if I wanted to apply for the job. And so I went for it and yeah, got the job. We worked on all of the basketball stuff in Chicago, World Basketball Festival. It was a really cool experience, but all based off of my chocolate chip cookies. You'll have to try them someday.
Yeah, that's really crazy. So you were really baking in back home, kind of thinking like not knowing what was next and what to expect, and then all of a sudden you ended up at Jordan?
Yeah, like you said, this was I didn't have to censor myself or anything on this podcast. I'm going to tell you all the real stories. It's the first time I ever told this real story. I was back in Iowa and like not working, and I was like hustling, trying to make money. And so I was making like edibles and selling edibles. And so some of them were infused, some not. But just trying to figure out how to make ends meet to get back on my feet and find that right career path. So wild times.
Yeah, that is wild to use edibles. I mean, I'll try both versions. If you can still make edibles for me, that'd be dope. Like you can make, if you can make the Jumpman logo too, would be really full circle.
Done.
So when you got there, what did your kind of role and take of, and like what were kind of some like day-to-day stuff you were like responsible for?
When I got to Jordan Brand in Chicago specifically, I was a marketing specialist tasked with like we had sponsored 6 high school basketball programs. So I was kind of the go-to liaison between the coaches, making sure that they got everything they need from jerseys and footwear to support for major games. I was only in that role for like 6 months. I was also supposed to be in retail, educating people on sneakers and everything like that. And then also did our summer Pro-Am league with Nike basketball, doing some activations, trial, but really that like on the ground brand person that you see getting their hands dirty, executing events and talking to everyday consumers.
And like, what are some of the like actions you got to do to like do those roles? You know what I mean? Like, what is it like throwing events and stuff like that, and like talking to consumers about like the product and stuff like that? You know, like what are some of the harsh realities that come with that? Because I feel like some people just think of like, oh, okay, you're at like Jordan, like your job must be super easy, when in reality it's like you got to do some really tough shit, and you got to really stick your neck out for some things, I'd imagine.
Yeah, it's wild. Like in the event space, anything and everything will go wrong. After that role in Chicago, I was in Portland, so I got promoted to work on the North America brand team. And I did things like my very first job or event in that role was NBA All-Star 2015 in New York. And I led the front on our 166 Flatbush pop-up experience, which was the very first sportswear-led brand experience. And it was nuts. It was many sleepless nights and trying to organize executions on, like, how do you bring all this together? Who all do we need to have on site? I literally argued for weeks over spending $15,000 to put in a bathroom in the space. Like, the most weird, bizarre things that you would think that, like, are below, quote unquote, below somebody in a role at Jordan, like, we did. Jordan Brand was a really unique experience because we wore so many hats to get everything done, because it is a very small yet mighty team. So anything and everything you can think of, from working with the merchants to seeing how many units of the product we should get. At that experience, we did a laser execution on the AJ1. And of course, like, you wanted to use the AJ1 and not the AJ1 mid, but we were doing laser etching testing and it burned wrong on that leather, unfortunately. So then we had to use mids, and like trying to figure out things like that with the agency that was help executing, and then going back internally and working with our merchant teams to make sure that we can find that product to put in the store. And then beyond that, the fun and cool, exciting things, one of my major tasks at the brand was, how do we tell our history and heritage story at retail? So I somehow talked the president into letting me take out all of MJ's game-worn shoes in the Nike lobby in Beaverton and put them in our store, pop-up store in New York. And the crazy thing about that was we had to, like, basically fly them on a plane with this, like, secured, like, escort who, like, then also, like, had tracking and everything was very, like, locked up on them. So from, like, high security stuff like that to just be able to put that in store in front of people and then be able to talk to them about it, that shit was crazy.
Yeah, and is it like, are you able to kind of like enjoy the product, if you will, as well? Like when you have an event and like things are going smoothly and it's like, you know, is there ever a point in each event that you throw where you're like, wow, okay, I was able to pull this off, and like appreciate, especially maybe in the sneaker space where it's like, you know, you're a huge sneaker fan and you're in front of like cases of game worn Jordans. Like, do you get to appreciate stuff like that, or is it really just kind of like work?
It's a mix of both. The long night, like I was for that event specifically, I was in New York for like 28 days, and I joke, but dead ass serious, I probably slept like 45 hours that 28 days. Ooh. So like you're up and working your ass off, that like it gets very stressful. But in the end, you look back and you're like, yeah, we pulled it off. But most times that, like, joy and reward comes, like, the last 2 hours of the event. But it's all worth it. Fast forward a year, and Michael Jordan was in front of this wall that I created for the pop-up in 306 Yonge Street. I, like, curated the best of... 1 through, I think we had 30 shoes out at the time, like collaborations, and worked with a local collector to pull all of those shoes together. And it was crazy because the brand's like, I don't care, Tara, you know, like you pick your favorite collab or colorway of every shoe and like that'll be it. And for MJ to like walk up to that wall and be like, damn, this is crazy, holy shit, and like a picture in front of it, those are the moments that, like, send you through the roof and make all the, like, tired, long nights well worth it.
And, like, especially with Jordan, like, how is it trying to take your creative ideas and, like, visions to some people who have just some insane power? You know, like, with Jordan Brand, it's kind of a little different. I certainly don't know from experience, but you do. How was that, especially when you first started and, like, getting comfortable, you know, and adjusted to it?
That's the wild thing, is you would think like a brand like Jordan or any of these major corporate places, like you can pull off some crazy stuff, but the crazy ideas are the ones that never see the light of day because of corporate America. So like I've been able to do some like way more crazy stuff working with brands like Lyrical Lemonade than a brand like Jordan Brand, although they have lots of money and things like that. Like there's a lot of red tape, or you can't do that just because it's what the brand said or whatever. Like that's so wild to me.
So they keep it like really hard and almost put a lid on creativity, did you feel like?
A little bit, and I think like, but not for no reason, right? Like,
yeah,
you know, I get it, and there's embargo dates and why we release things a certain way, but like, and I think that's what pushed me to like, I need to be my own boss and be in a leadership role where no one can tell me no, and if a client doesn't want to do it, like, I don't need to work with that client, right? So being your own boss is the only time that you're ever really going to have full creative freedom, or, you know, when you're working on your own creative projects, if you're an artist or whatever.
So how many All-Star games in total did you do? Like 4, 5?
No, actually I only did 2 of them. And then I actually got fired from Jordan Brand. And yeah, I like, you know, all that gray area that everybody like, or not gray area, but you hear about people getting fired all day, every day about product, like they took product X, Y, and Z. I didn't take anything crazy or anything. I wasn't doing anything out of the super out of pocket, but like in a role like that, you have access to stuff, and unfortunately you're not entitled to all of it, right? So I unfortunately got let go. So I was only there for 2 years. But like I said, like I just wasn't my happiest in that role. Lots of like no and red tape that made me, when I was forced out, like kind of a blessing in disguise, right? Like you're at Jordan brand, you're gonna, no, I'm just tripping. Like this is where I belong. And it was like, I was forced to really evaluate, like that wasn't where I needed to be. And that wasn't where I can be the best version of myself.
And so how did you find like the happiness there? And like, how were you able to kind of pick yourself back up in like the workspace and like creative space?
Yeah, I mean, I went without a job for like 5 months. I was about to take a role at Adidas Germany. They offered it and everything, like was literally waiting on a plane ticket to go over to Germany and sign my paperwork. Wow. And that morning they were like, yeah, we're not actually going to move forward with the role. So I like had no money left in my account and had to pack everything up and move to Chicago. And in that time of the 5 months, like trying to find something, I was just doing a lot of soul searching, like what really makes me happy. And like I said earlier, it was being able to connect my friends to other people. And like I had a crazy network, like let me use it and find a way to, instead of just putting people on, like let me put people on but make a living doing it. And let me be clear, like I don't do what I do for a check. Like it's just like let me make sure that my time is being valued, right? Like I will do stuff 10 times over for just to hook people up or help them out. It's not about like the money, but at the end of the day, like you have to eat and you have to make ends meet yourself to be able to keep moving forward and being a good partner to be able to keep giving those opportunities to people.
So you've said it a couple times now, like you describe yourself as a dot collector, and like I think a lot of people in the industry know what a dot collector is. For those who don't, like how would you kind of describe it and like what they really do?
Yeah, so a dot connector, like just being the middleman of connecting a creative to an opportunity. So identifying people and/or it works both ways, right? So brands will come to me, who should we work with? And then I can connect the dot from the brand to the creative. Or I've worked with creatives, and a lot of my first clients that I had when I started my business were these small independent brands, and just trying to connect them to the opportunities at the brand. So just bringing like-minded people together to make magic is how I like to describe it.
Yeah, and that's super cool. And like, how crucial is it for like a lot of different businesses, corporate or not, just kind of in the entertainment space, to have people like that can connect dots for like the big plays and stuff like that?
Absolutely. Yeah. I like to say that I am somebody who obsesses over authentic partnerships. And so it's like many people can know people and connect people, but the magic truly is in seeing how those two marry together perfectly. Because I know we've all seen horrible collaborations between people that just don't make sense. Like Pine Sol had a sneaker, like that made zero sense, right? So making sure that it really resonates and people can get excited about it is the plus up of being a dot connector. So you can be a dot connector and just hope that they figure things out, or you can be a dot connector who's like, here's how you two make magic happen.
So how did you get in touch with Lyrical Lemonade, and how did you get in tune to start working for them?
Yeah, so I was the agency of record for Champ Sports, which agency of record, for people who don't know, all of these brands usually work with creative agencies to bring to life all of their stuff. And being an agency of record just means that you're on retainer or constantly working with a brand month in, month out. And I was developing all of the strategy for how Champ Sports shows up at retail and activates with the community. And I wanted to do an activation with Lyrical Lemonade at Champ Sports. It's funny, like, talk about using your favors for the right ways. I had a friend, Mike P. Shout out Mike P. He's a DJ. That's my boy. He was DJing a Champs event for me, and he was like late, and he was like, "Let me make it up to you. Like, don't pay me the full thing." And I was like, "No, I want you to get your money, but like, can you connect me to Lyrical Lemonade?" And he was like, "I can't make a promise that like they'll get back to you, but I can make that intro, and the rest is on you." And so I got connected to Jake and JB over there, and I told them, I was like, "Look, I want to work with you guys. I don't have a crazy budget, but I fuck with you guys and fuck with what you're doing. Here's the whole budget that I have. Let's figure out what makes sense for you guys." And by my approach in that sense is very unconventional, because for those who don't know, usually how that works is an agency would reach out to Lyrical Lemonade and be like, "Here's the entire plan that we have, and we have $10,000 for you, and we're going to spend the rest of the money how we feel." Instead, my approach has always been very transparent, and I was like, "Look, I'm not going to tell you what's cool. You tell me what's cool, and here's all my money, and we'll figure out how to bring this to life." And so that I feel like is what really got them to take me seriously and like want to work with me, because I wasn't this like corporate person trying to take advantage of them. Instead, I was like, "Let me give you resources to do something that excites you."
And what year did you, like, if you don't know the exact like day, time, it's fine, but like what general ballpark year did you start with Lyrical?
I believe it would have been 2018, I want to say. Yeah, we had that meeting in like March 2018 maybe. And then I had this activation, and Chance the Rapper's old manager, or one of his managers, Colleen, still works with him, I think, was doing this talk at this event that I threw at Champs, and was like, "If you want something, you got to ask for it, or else you'll never get it." So I had those conversations with them. That event didn't happen, and I was like, "Look, I know I can do partnerships for them. They have this music festival. Like, I need to open up my mouth and like try to go get it." And so I asked for them to have a meeting, and Cole, Jake, and JB showed up, and I put together a presentation and asked, I was like, "Look, here's my background. Here's what I want to do for you guys." And so we started working together in the fall of 2018. And the rest has been just a wild ride since then.
And, I mean, so I guess your role entails, the festivals like Summer Smash. It entails like all the brands that they work with. So they ended up doing a collab with Jordan, and you were the lead. You were one of the lead people on that project, right?
Yeah. So I should have said this, but when I had that meeting, they were like, JB was like, "Yeah, my goal is to partner with Jordan brand. Like, that would be like the craziest thing." And Cole was like, "Yeah, like, what's more iconic than Lyrical Lemonade and like the coolest brand to come out of Chicago, Jordan brand?" And so I was like, "All right, bet, I got you." And so I took on the role of owning all of their brand partnership stuff. They're not exclusive to me by any means, but over the years, we've just kind of developed that trust, and I bring a lot of things to them that really speak to them. So a lot of I would say 95% of their partnerships all go through me. And then also, you know, their partnerships 365 are a little different than the festival partnerships. The festival partnerships are more true event sponsorship stuff that don't really tie to the Lyrical Lemonade brand itself, but rather the Summer Smash Music Festival. And so, yeah, I do both of those. I do all of the lifestyle sponsorships for the festival, and then their 365 partnerships, such as the Jordan brand partnership. And sorry, I rambled a little bit, but
no, you're good.
I think like that partnership, it's crazy to think about because they wanted to do something with them so bad. We almost took two different opportunities with them that just didn't seem right. Like we almost did an Air Max Day thing with Jordan brand, and like Air Max Day is not even Jordan brand's thing, right?
Yeah.
And then we were gonna do All Star when it wasn't Chicago, wherever it was before Chicago, I think Charlotte. We were gonna do a like city activation for Chicago, and like it just didn't seem right or seem like the right moment. And so this was like a 2-year process to bring to life. And I just kept pushing. Like when I went to Jordan brand, they didn't know who Lyrical Lemonade was. And like all the listeners on here are probably like, how? Like that's wild. But that just goes to show you like some of these corporations are so disconnected from the core consumer and what's really going on in culture. So I'd like kept pitching, and it ended up being the right moment where they're like, look, Tara, this is it. All Stars coming to Chicago, and we actually like can give you guys a shoe. What do you think? And like me and the guys went crazy over it. It was perfect, but a 2-year process, but to see it come to life at All Star in Chicago, like I'm getting chills just thinking about it now.
Yeah, and just like, can you kind of talk about the celebration a little bit, and just in terms of how satisfying it was for you and like your team to pull that off after like 2 years of finally getting of working towards that goal of getting a shoe. And then after talking about the celebration, talk about like that model and like why that model specifically was picked.
Yeah, so a lot of people, you know, the celebration was cool. We ended up launching the shoe. It sold out in 30 seconds on the sneakers app, and we ended up culminating with a workshop with a community partner, and then throwing a music show after the high school city championships. We had Lil Tecca, JID, and Playboy Cardi perform. So, like, that was wild to celebrate with the guys. But the process, everyone's like, well, why didn't you guys do a retro? Like, it doesn't work that way. The brand came to us and were like, here's the model you get. And so we were given the 720, which was a brand new model, had never been out before, which, if you guys know, like, even if Travis Scott does, like, a non-retro, like, it doesn't really sell like that. So we were kind of nervous, but the whole brief was, here's the shoe, and you have to touch on all of the train stations. So the pink line, the green line, the blue line, you name them. You had to tell that, like, unified story through this shoe. So I didn't design it specifically. JB did that. And by design, I mean the shoe was designed, but we picked the colors. Mm-hmm. And where his inspiration came from was actually one of my favorite shoes was the ice blue Retro 8. And our color was, we had to make sure pink came to life in all of our product. So you saw a lot of pink on the upper. And then with our apparel that came with it, you saw a lot of pink come to life. And the reason why we got the pink line was because it goes through Pilsen, which is close to where the guys' offices are. So, yeah, we don't get to pick. Like, if we got to pick it, we would have picked, like, a Retro 1 or a Retro 3. Like, that would be legendary. But I think it's also, like, even cooler to be able to look back and say, we took a 720 that is not cool by any means to the sneaker world, if you will, and we sold that out in 30 seconds. Like, name someone else who can do that. Like, there's very few that can.
Yeah, no, that's, I think, is, especially with hindsight, like, the fact that it really wasn't a retro model, and it did sell so quickly. Because I remember seeing the pictures, and, like, I wasn't in the music industry at the time. I was just, a casual consumer of stuff online, and I saw the shoes and liked them, and liked that it was, like, the colorway and stuff like that, but I didn't know anything about the model. But I still saw so many different people buy it in the merch. I see so many people still wear the merch too. And it's just crazy to hear like how long of a process that was and how long it took. And like the vision was kept by like all the people internally.
Yeah. And that's just a salute to Cole and the team and what they've built at Lyrical Lemonade. Like their fan base is so obsessed with them. And like, it's all because Cole hasn't sold out to corporate America. Like he's made true to like who he is, who Lyrical is, and like that nostalgia, like aesthetic of their creative brand really resonates with that next generation consumer. And like hats off to him for never like straying from that and staying true to his identity, because I feel like that's why the world messes with him so hard, is like he will never sell out. Like, he doesn't do it for the money. He does it for the love and the passion, and, like, just really is in tune with what his people want. And then, like, he just has a great creative vision overall.
And, like, in hindsight, too, with Jordan, I just feel like they probably regret not doing a retro model, because I feel like Lyrical is just so on top right now. It's like Cole's working with some of the biggest names. So it's like, his value is only going to grow, which means the shoe and the legacy of Lyrical Lemonade will grow as well, off some of that work. And it's just not to diminish everybody else, but it's just like, I would imagine like corporate giants who are like, would wish that it was maybe on like a Jordan. Hopefully there's another opportunity for you guys to do another collaboration. That would be super cool.
Yeah, that's how I look at it. It's we knocked that one out of the park. So like, what's next? It just opens the opportunity for that next shoe collaboration to be even better. And it allows us to not demand, because I feel like has a negative connotation, but like, like they have to come with a better model or a better opportunity to surpass what we did with Jordan Brand originally.
Yeah, no, like they should give you a 1 is what I'm saying. Like they should put you guys on like a big model, because it's like, I think it would sell out in seconds. Like fuck 30 seconds, how's 10 or 5? It's just right. Like, I think the name of Lyrical Lemonade, and compared to 2019 to now, like it's just more stronger. So it's like, it could be crazy. It would really be crazy if like, to play that what if game, and maybe one day that will work.
Yeah, who knows what the future holds.
But PopTarts and Lyrical, how did that happen? And
yeah, wild. So Weber Shandwick is actually the agency of record for Kellogg, and as we talked about earlier, that's where now I am at. And I told you, like, I had been trying to sell Lyrical Lemonade to that agency for years. Mm-hmm. And it's just about waiting and finding the right opportunity. And they finally came to me, and my friend was like, you know what? I think I finally have it. Like, what about PopTarts? And they're like, we're working on something. We think maybe we can sell it into the client. Like, this might be the one. And Kellogg's has never done a collaboration like this at all. And, Kellogg's is a large brand. PopTart's just one of the many brands that they have. So to be the first collaborator with them is just, it's legendary, but it's wild. I remember having that call with my friend, like, like, we're working on this, like, off the record, like, it's not promised, but we're going to pitch you if you're cool with it. I was like, cool. So I text Cole, and I was like, yo, do you like Pop-Tarts? Mind you, I've never ate a Pop-Tart in my whole life. Mm-hmm. So I was like, do you like Pop-Tarts? And he was like, yeah, why? I was like, bet, like, I had a call today. We're gonna make a Pop-Tart. And he's like, really? What? I was like, it's not guaranteed yet, but we're gonna have a Pop-Tart. So super excited for that. We just unveiled it last week, and by the time this comes out, we'll have released it, I believe. You know, we're activating in LA, doing a whole pop-up experience, doing some on-site customization of like merch, backpacks for back to school, that type of thing. But then we'll also be giving away the boxes and then releasing them online the next day. So super excited about that one. I think, you know, you see so many collaborations, like the Bears collaboration we did with Lyrical Lemonade, like that makes sense, but it's predictable, kind of, you know. This Pop-Tarts one was like something I guarantee nobody saw coming. So like that's really, really cool to us.
Yeah, and this is going to come out August 16th, and currently there's no public release date. Will they be out by then?
Yeah, we actually announced it in 2 days. So the public release will be the 14th, and our event will be the 13th in LA, and then it'll release on .com on the 14th. So by the time you guys listen to this, hopefully you have an order in and the Pop-Tarts are on their way to you.
Yeah, so you can't, like, these aren't, you're not going to be able to, like, go to the grocery store, like, with the Reese's Puff stuff that they've done with rappers and, like, get these in the store. Like, you have to go online and get them.
Yeah, it'll be exclusive to this pop-up in LA, and then limited quantities on our Lyrical Lemonade website. Wow. So a little different. Kellogg's just hasn't done anything like this yet. So, you know, again, like we talked about before, the Jordan shoe collab would have been cool if it was a retro, but it wasn't. It gives us room to grow. So here we have a limited edition food item. Like, next up is, like, give us that McDonald's meal, you know? That's what I'm coming after next. Like, something kids can go and get all over the world and be able to, like, have that tie to the brand.
Like a Lenny Happy Meal or something like that.
Exactly. Yeah. You feel me?
Yeah. No, that's super cool. And I think you were kind of hinting at, like, Cole's reaction. So you texted him over the phone and he was just kind of baffled.
Yeah, I mean, that's how we kind of always work, right? I'm just like, do you like this? Is this weird? Like, but, you know, I think that's the special magic and why we work so well together is, like, I've been told no multiple times by him on other stuff that, like, just didn't seem right? And he doesn't do it for the money. So, like, brands have thrown money at things that just didn't feel right that we've had to pass on. And so I kind of know when he's going to say yes and no. So there's a lot of stuff that he's going to say no to or not get excited about. I just dub before even presenting it to him. Or, like, I might bring up and be like, yo, so-and-so had asked me X, Y, and Z, but I said no, that was cool, right? Yeah. So, like, these other things are kind of cool to just kind of hit him with out of nowhere. Like, I know you're going to love this. So
that's super cool. And you're also, like, involved with, like, the Summer Smash festivals, like, partnerships and sponsorships and stuff. And, like, how is that different than, like, comparison to working with, like, a pop, like Kellogg and Jordan Brand and the NFL for, like, collaborations and stuff?
Yeah, so, I mean, it doesn't go through the same property, so it goes through the Summer Smash, so our Instagram and everything is different. It's very event-based in that weekend only, where these other partnerships, such as Pop-Tarts, etc., they're stuff that lives forever. Like, if we post about it, it stays on our page forever. And it's stuff that's more robust and involved, and, like, merch is involved, or, like, a commercial maybe. Like, we did a commercial for the launch of the Jordan shoe. Like, it's very much more revolved around the Lyrical Lemonade brand as a property. And the Summer Smash stuff is more so, like, we need X amount of dollars and then for those dollars that gives you brand awareness around this event and you can activate at this event, but, like, it doesn't tie you to the Lyrical Lemonade brand direct. So, like, it just ties you to Summer Smash. I know that, like, is, like, people are probably like, that's the same thing, but it's not. Like, the Summer Smash is a event, right? It happens one time a year. so you're only tied to that event. Yeah, you're tied to Lyrical in association, but it just is a little different, and brands look at it differently too, right?
Yeah.
Like, it's a single moment in time, and although, like, the Lyrical Lemonade Jordan brand collab was a single moment in time when we did that event, that shoe lives forever. The stuff that we do at Summer Smash doesn't really live forever. It's, you were there that weekend, you experienced, or you didn't.
Yeah, and that's super cool. That's like a good way to put it, I think, for other people. And like something that definitely lived forever, and you were talking about it earlier, as it was just kind of like chunk change, was like the NFL collab. You said it was predictable. Why would you say it was predictable?
I mean, so we've done 3 NFL collabs. We've done with the Bears, we've done the season announcement for, or the, like, schedule announcement for 2019-2020 season, and then we did the merch collab. And then for the NFL, we did NFL Direct. We did their season kickoff video. I don't think that was predictable, but, like, the Bears collab, a little more predictable, right? You see,
Right, yeah.
Joe Fresh Goods has done a collab with the Bears. It never went to retail, but, like, sports teams are always collaborating with artists and brands to do one-off collections that, like, it was very special, and, like, we loved it, and, like, we killed that shit, but, like, it doesn't have as much of a holy shit, I would have never imagined this, you know? Like, Cole is a diehard Bears fan. Like, of course that made sense, and of course that can happen. Like, those properties are always doing collabs like that. Where PopTarts, Kellogg's has never collabed with anybody ever, let alone a brand out of Chicago that is tied to, that makes music videos and merch. Like, it's a music blog. Like, usually those collaborations would be a visual artist or someone like that just, like, decorates the box. I mean, you know, like, it was just very unpredictable.
What's some advice you would give to people that may be listening who may want to, like, do stuff that you're doing and, like, want to enter the work field that you're in now?
Don't do it unless you're truly passionate about it. And pursue things that, like, excite you, that make you want to jump out of bed in the morning, because it will not be easy. What I do is not easy. I got a great support system, but, like, there'll be times I go to them and I'm, like, crying, like, I don't know if I can do this anymore. Like, this is very stressful. It's not easy to do. None of it is. So you need to love it and, like, really, really be passionate about it, because that's how you can get people to believe in what you're doing, and for you to remind yourself you can't stop until you see it through.
Yeah, and I think just kind of for anybody who's in the entertainment space, no matter kind of what the roles are, back of house, front of house, like, the support system thing is, like, really important. Like, it was something that I kind of figured out right away, because I was, like, grateful enough to have people around me doing it before I was doing it, you know? And talk about a little bit having your support team and how that helps you kind of, like, get through, like, the hard shit that you got to deal with on, like, a weekly to monthly basis.
Yeah, I think, like, I really believe in the fact that who you surround yourself is, like, a result of how far you will go in life. And so I try to surround myself with a few different groups of people, some that, you know, emotionally get me and, like, can support me and push me to be a better human. Another group that, like, pushes me to, like, that's always doing dope and amazing stuff, that pushes me to, like, reach and achieve more and know that anything is possible. You've got to have different pockets of people, and, like, people may think it's corny to say, like, or let it go over their head of not being the smartest person in the room is not a good thing. Like, emotionally and like, mentally. I think, you know, those are two different things. So like couple of my support systems on the emotional side, like they are licensed therapists, and I don't dump on them, but like I value their take when I'm like hot-headed about something or how I should approach something. And then like on the flip side, from like an intellectual standpoint, I lean on that crew to, how do I negotiate this deal? What should I be asking for? If you're surrounding yourself with people that like don't push you, or you feel comfortable, just like, and I mean comfortable in a way of like relaxed and like I've made it, not like comfortable in the fact that I trust them, because you should always trust who you surround yourself with. But like if you're around people that like, you're like, I make this group run, I'm the coolest, like I'm the smartest, and like these people make me look better, or, you know, like make me feel like I'm top of the world, like you're in the wrong crew. You need people that are going to push you and motivate you and like take you to the next level and teach you stuff that you never thought you needed to know.
Yeah, that's facts. That's absolutely facts.
And then like to go back and like give more advice, like how do you get there? Like I know some people are like, cool, I got to be passionate about it, but like, Tara, how do I actually get there? Like there's no rule of how you get to doing things like I do. Like if you're passionate about something, believe me, you will find a way. And like you will see who is doing something like that. Can I ask them like how they got there? Can I study them from afar? Like everybody puts not everything on social, but like you can study people from afar, the moves that they make and like how they're getting from point A to point B, to kind of like guide you and like give you some like direction. But there's no one right way to get to do what I do. Like there's many ways. Like I was just talking to a new coworker, and she used to be in finance and now she does influencer stuff, and she jumped straight from finance to influencer. So like there's no one way to get to that. I say just like my number one advice is just always pursue your passion and make sure like you're really pursuing something that you love.
Yeah, that is facts. That is absolutely facts. I want to transition into like, you know, what you do when you have free time. You're obviously a pretty busy person, but you know, you got to have some type of downtime and just some overall rest in your life. And I'm sure, I know you definitely do like collect sneakers. Your sneaker collection's fucking sick. I can't even cap, like probably one of the dopest collections that like I know of people, of just like people in my world. Like you definitely have one of the top collections I've seen.
Thank you. Yeah, I mean, I'm a workaholic, I won't lie, but like I work in the space of what I love, so it's okay. And so I think there's lots of crossover. I don't collect sneakers anymore, but I'm actually like trying to not buy shoes for a while. I've made it a few months. I hit on sneakers the other day, but I'm giving them to a friend for retail. But I try not to buy shoes as much anymore. But what I do for fun, you know, I love live music, love going to concerts. I love learning more about the music industry. So I just started managing JAMS. He's a hip-hop artist out of Chicago, and that's been really fun. So that's some of what I do in my free time, is help him build what he has going on. He's about to go on tour, so like that fulfills my love for going to live shows. I also am really big into art, so I have a great like KAWS collection. Yep. I have a original Hebrew Brantley print, so like going to art installations and galleries is really big for me, and like it sparks a lot of ideas when it comes to work. And then travel is huge for me, so I love traveling internationally, and I'm at solo travel. If anyone has never traveled solo, I urge you to do it. You learn so much about yourself, and like back to what truly makes you happy. Like if you want McDonald's when you're in Europe, you can get McDonald's. Don't do it, but like you know, you can make those decisions and do what you want to do. And so travel is really big for me. One day I want to live part-time in Italy. So trying to find ways to go out and explore is always something that I try to do in my free time.
How many, not to, I want to bring up all that stuff too, but how many pairs of shoes would you say you have in your collection?
I have just over 300, and I know that because one of my clients, Lil Ju Made the Beat, Meg Thee Stallion's producer, he was like, no, I'm trying to get my sneaker collection up, and I know it's better than yours. I got you, Tara. And he was like, count them. So I counted them recently, and it's just over 300, but trying to get it down even further, like, perfect world, I'd get it down to 200 and never go above that.
What are like the oldest, because I'm a shoe head. Like, I was supposed to go to the sports, and like before that I loved Jordan, Nike, like grew up with that, kind of similar to you. So like I remember one day, like when I knew, I was like, okay, yeah, this isn't just like I worked at Jordan and liked it, like you really like appreciated it. I saw you wearing like Cardinal 7s from like 2006 because they had the gold Atlas. And I used to have those, which you might be like, you're younger than me. Why do you have those? But it was one of the first pairs of shoes my parents ever bought me. So it's like, I remember seeing you with those and was just like, holy shit. You know, you have like so many different pairs of shoes now. I mean, I saw you recently, you had the Rick Owens. You were going with a more fashionable shoe.
Yeah, I mean, like 95% of my collections are Jordans. Like, I got a Jumpman tattoo the day I turned 18. So, like, I really love Jordans. Like I said, like, when I like something, I'm, like, super obsessive about it. So, my favorite shoe that I own, I can't wear it, but it's the Ginger 16. I've got 2 OG pairs. Of course, like, you know, an OG shoe, like, that's crumbling.
Yeah, that's not wearable anymore. Right?
Yeah, I put it on and took a picture. Like, I stood up, took the picture, sat back down, took them off. Like, I did not take a single step in them. The first pair I did, and, like, they were crumbled in, like, 5 steps.
Yeah.
I've got a pair of, what else do I have? I have some, I don't know. I got some wild stuff in that collection.
Do you have like PEs and samples and stuff?
I mean, the craziest thing that I have is a Legend of Summer Retro 1, the Justin Timberlake Friends and Family.
All red Jordan 1, you have those?
Yeah, they're suede.
Shit, dude.
Suede and like snakeskin, but that was a gift from a mentor of mine. I had like made some pins for a family friend of his, and so he was like, yo, that was really dope of you to remember that kid wanted those 7 months ago, and you guys remade them, and you like hand delivered them with a note to me. Like, that was special. So he gave me those shoes. So I've got a lot of random stuff, but
that's like a house. That's like that's a rent for a year pair of shoes right there. That's crazy. I would never have expected, because aren't those like one of like 5, 10?
Yeah, probably like maybe 10, 15. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah. Something limited. But that's something, you know, you never let go of, because it's like a gift, you know.
Yeah,
and
you can't.
Yeah, so I've got some stuff, but nothing too crazy. Like I said, when I moved to Chicago, I hadn't worked for 5 months, and like I wasn't saving my money. Like, I overdrafted my account, and so I was selling shoes to be able to eat. Like, I was so broke when I moved back to Chicago to start my business. I was like, didn't have an apartment. I was sleeping on a friend's couch and like going to sleep for dinner because I didn't have any money. So like, the shoes are kind of there, you know. I'll sell one here and there just to like get by during those times, but some stuff you never let go.
Yeah. I don't think if I had those sitting in front of me, I would not let them go, just because I remember like seeing those and like the Nice Kicks like closet videos when I was growing up, just like jaw dropped, like, oh shit, that's just super cool. How many like what are your favorite models? Like, Jordan wise, and like you can, if it's other brands or whatever, like go ahead. Like you're just your top three like favorite shoe models.
16, 8, and I'd say the one. The one has become my favorites over the years just because I travel a lot, and like it's very versatile. You can wear it, you can dress it up, you can dress it down. And like just the core colors that they come in, like the shadow ones I wear like all the time. They go with everything. 8s are one of my favorites because it was one of the first models I bought by myself. And then the 16 is one of my favorites because I remember seeing it in the East Bay catalog back in the day. Like, what is that? Like, that's so weird. And then like, when everyone started to, you know, get into shoes, like that became my favorite because it was something that I knew no one would ever be wearing. You know, you go to the store, you run into somebody wearing AJ1s now. So models like that are like very special to me because it like, you know, I know my shit if I'm wearing something like that.
Yeah. No, that's just incredibly cool. And like I ask that question to every guest. So I've gotten a bunch of different answers. The most common is 1, 3s, and 4s. So to get 16 8s and then 1s, that's pretty cool. And I think that definitely is like a stamp of like, yeah, you know your shit kind of more than I do, and a lot of other people when it comes to Jordans and stuff like that.
Yeah, I mean, one of my main jobs at Jordan Brand was the like history and heritage storytelling of the brand at retail. So like I've sat down and had conversations with Tinker about like when he was designing a shoe on the road with Jordan during his championship runs and stuff like that. Like those stories like really make you appreciate those like other models. Like it's more than just like a shoe. Like it was a moment in time, and like that's why Jordans are always like going to be super special to me, is because like they hold much more weight than like a Yeezy does. Like there's really not a magical story behind Kanye and Adidas, like not like the rich heritage around Jordan Brand.
Mm-hmm.
Michael.
Yeah, no, I think with like, again, Kanye's just been able to build brands off his own influence. Not that that's a bad thing, but it's just like that's what his like lines have been based off of. Like that's the same thing with Gap, is like that's how he's about to sell all these clothes, is because of Donda, and like I think his music is like a part of how he can sell his stuff. Whereas Jordan, it's like, no, it's stories of stuff that's happened like already. Like, I don't know, like really easy examples, the Shatter Backwards. And like, look what that turned into. Now there's like a 5.0 or whatever the hell, you know? And it's crazy, the differences, I guess. And you collect art too. I know you have like a big Cause collection.
Yeah.
And do you collect like paintings and stuff like that, or like other sculptures?
Yes, I have a lot of the Cause toys. I have the Urge prints that just came out before the Brooklyn show. I'm a big Hebrew fan, so I have a ton of Hebrew prints and a couple of his vinyl toys. And then, like I said earlier, during quarantine, I purchased original from Hebrew, a 2014 Untitled. It's fire. But then, like, I'm always looking for up-and-coming creatives. I manage an artist who's super dope out of Seattle. Her name's Tori. So love her work. And then one of my new favorite artists is actually from Chicago. Her name's Kayla, Instagram Kayla May Art, I believe. But she does some amazing work. It kind of reminds me of Hebrew in a little bit, but it's a little different. But she does some mixed media stuff that kind of reminds me of some of like Hebrew's 2014 to 2016 work.
Mm. That's really wild. And you were just saying too, like you were having meetings with Tinker, like back when you were with Jordan and stuff.
Yeah. So my role was like, I developed how like the associates would talk about shoes. I developed, how the stores were staffed, and then train them on all of the stories behind the shoe. So like I was reading all these autobiographies, things like that, and like meetings with Tinker, but like the interesting part is, like, those meetings with Tinker, like, that was after the brand. Like, I like, had a few exchanges at the brand, but, like, a lot of those brand stories and stuff would come from the PLMs, which are product line managers, at the brand, who would find those stories of, like, shattered backward, etc., and they would tell me, like, this colorway is based off of X, Y, and Z, and then I would put together those training kits and then send them off to retail associates, Eakins, to train everybody, so then you guys as consumers can learn about them. But, like, the Tinker thing, like, I spent a night in Atlanta going to a Drake concert and, like, dancing to Hotline Bling with Tinker, and then, like, going to dinner and hearing all these stories about him and MJ in the finals and stuff like that. Like, he's a character.
Yeah, I mean, it's just, like, that's crazy. I never knew that you would have met him and stuff. I mean, it makes sense, but that is super, super wild. And, like, what was it like really working with him and, like, being able to, like, be around him like that?
He's just a genius. He's one of those people that you just, like, you might ask, like, 2 questions, and then you just sit back and listen, and then you just, like, get excited, and he sees how passionate you are, and he'll just keep telling you more and more stories. Like, if you get that guy's attention, like, he will tell you stories for hours on end. Like, it's insane. And I've met MJ before, too, but that was, like, pretty brief, and was like, oh, I love the work you do for the brand. Like, do you want to go get a drink? Sure, let's go get a drink.
Yeah.
But, yeah, Tinker just, like, I don't know how to explain him. He remembers everything so vividly, and I think that's why his product is so good, because he, like, puts so many details into a product, a shoe, to be able to, like, tell a deeper story. That's why his stuff is unmatched and, like, still relevant till this day, because it's not based off of a fad. Like, it's based off of, like, rich events and culture that, like, spurred the inspiration.
Yeah, that is super, super crazy. I mean, for those who don't know who Tinker Hatfield is, he is, like, a pillar of what we know now as, like, the Jordan line. And that is just a really, really crazy story.
Jordan line and beyond, right? Like, he's the one who made the Air Max, visible Air Max. Like, that guy's a legend.
Yeah, he's done so many different things. Isn't he? I mean, I don't follow Jordan stuff like that anymore, like I used to. But I think, isn't he doing, like, the, like, new models, like the more performance enhanced retros? Like, isn't he a part of the design for those?
I know he did some of the, like, he came back and did the 20, and he's done some model, like, he did the 30. With Tate, did the 30. So he's worked on some of those newer models. I don't know if he's doing a new one now, but, like, he did that Hyper Adapt with the automatic lacing. He did the Air Mag. He designed that years ago. So,
I think he designed Zion. Like, I don't want to say the 35, because it's just, it wouldn't make sense if they did the 20 and then waited 10 years to do the 30. So I think he did Zion's first shoe. That's, like, still hasn't come out yet.
He may have. I wouldn't be surprised. He's very much active and involved in, like, all of the really cool projects at the brand.
That's super cool. I don't have any other questions for you. So can you tell people, if they don't already, where they can, like, follow you on social media and stuff?
Yeah, you can follow me at Koppelman Rockham on Instagram. I'm not on TikTok or anything crazy like that. And then shout out to my brands, the people that really fuck with me, that I work tirelessly with to provide opportunities and resources to. So while you're following me, make sure you follow my client's Tori Kirihara, which she's at Tori Baby, a 0 instead of an O and 2 I's, and then follow JAMS The Flava Child. You can follow him at JAMS TFC. Catch him for the new hottest tracks that he's working on. So show me some love, show my people love, and this has been real fun. I appreciate you having me on.
Yeah, Tara, thank you for taking the time out of your busy schedule to join me for an interview. And this was this episode of the Culture Captures Spotlight podcast. Tune in again next week for another episode.